If you didn't know before, perhaps you could tell by the wall behind me that one of the things I'm very passionate about, but rarely talk about, are toys, especially any kind of vintage toys, which is why I'm very excited about where we're going today. Welcome to the Glendale Civic Auditorium, which today is hosting the All-American Collector Show. Of course, Glendale is in LA County, and LA County has gone back to the whole mask thing, but otherwise, I'm very excited to see what's in here. Oh my gosh, this is already awesome. I already see amazing things, dude, wonderful things. Look at vintage comics, vintage Mego, Batman. Ooh, and his arch enemy. Dude, we're only in the foyer, and I'm seeing things I've never seen before, like this. Look at that monster. That is awesome. And look at this little monster right here. Aww. Ooh, a vintage toy Tommy gun. I could find a use for that. This is incredible already. And I've already spotted people that I know in here. Like fake Tyler. Aww. Behind this table over here is Cliff. Cliff works in the store where we have our booth. The antiques are. He's following me. I'm already overstimulated. I see everything from stereoscopes to vintage tin toys, Starsky and Hutch, California raisins, sad teddy bears, a vintage monkey puppet. Oh, dude, I love it. I love everything. Actually, that's the problem with me. The problem with me is I like everything. I like a little bit of everything. Which means the compulsion to buy everything is with me. Seriously, every shelf has something amazing on it. And look at this Dracula poster. Heck, look at this old Dairy Queen poster. We still haven't even entered the main hall yet. All right, we've got to tear ourselves away. Well, we're never even going to get to see what the show looks like. Oh my gosh. Would you look at the size of this place? It's a whole massive old school gymnasium full of wonderful things. Dude, it is packed to the nines. Look at this, finally. I can get into science. This is so cool. There's some really interesting stuff in here. Practitioner dispensing opium. I was expecting the toys. I wasn't expecting that. Dude, this is incredible. Just the range of different items. Just look at these vintage slingshots. I have never seen so many in one place in all my life. Is that actually an adoption certificate? What is that? What's really amazing to me are how many antique Old West items are here. Like this old costume that must be from the 50s. Or like these old school Red Ryder gloves. I mean, who kept those and for how long? I really gotta say, I don't know much about tin toys, but it's impressive seeing so many here, including with their original packaging. As anyone knows who's ever touched one, tin toys are very fragile, which is why finding them in great condition like this is pretty rare. Also rare are these old school Disney squirt guns with unfortunate trigger placement. Yeah. Here's another thing I wasn't expecting. Look at these vintage jewelry art pieces. My great-grandma used to make Christmas trees out of everyone's old jewelry, sometimes war medals. Another unexpected thing that takes me back. Allie's coming up on all the old vintage Disney buttons over here. I love seeing the stuff that could be considered more antique than vintage, as it were. But speaking of things I've never seen before, I had no idea they made Desert Storm trading cards. Oh my gosh, Allie, what the heck is that?
I don't know.
That is my nightmare. Ooh, if you're a Barbie girl, this is the place to come. To enhance your Barbie world, that's for sure. Whoa. There are a lot of old signs here, and they are not reproductions. Check out these wings right there. Look at this stuff. This is the kind of stuff you never see anywhere anymore. Dude, look at that log cabin syrup tin. That is wild. Imagine pouring your syrup out of a tin log cabin every morning. Yes. Bond. Bread bond. Hey, Allie. Check out these models. Whoa. And I thought Allie's closet had a lot of stuff in it. Look at all these Barbie clothes from generations back. Whoa, even a Miss Astronaut spacesuit. Okay, that is an old Barbie. I don't know much about old Barbies, but that is old school, and I'm guessing that's a very old school Ken. I worked at this place when I was 16 that had a doll museum on the property. I used to go in there and talk to the old lady who owned it. And it's interesting. It's interesting stuff. I didn't want to play with it as a kid. I don't want to buy it now. but I do like looking at it.
He's Barbie's boyfriend, and he likes to wear grape smugglers.
All right, see, so like, look at this Sun-Kissed poster. Where do you even find things like this, original things like this, for a good price? I don't even know what that would fetch at an auction. That's fantastic. Holy cow, it's Superman. That is a rare Superman right there. And look, it's Hopalong Cassidy. Look at these epic vintage Mickeys. The hand car has its original box. I mean, where in the world do you find another Lionel Mickey Mouse hand car with its box? Can't just find that at Big Lots. Look at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I've never even seen one like this. Much less this Disneyland game. Look at the shape that box is in. Dude, this is... oh, this is awesome. Always extra intriguing to me. Hey, Wienermobile. Sweet. Are the big 3D objects like this. Big 3D pieces of advertising. And the Glendale show, which happens twice a year, by the way, is not just a collectibles, but also a vintage advertising show as well. So hopefully we'll see lots more things like the old Wienermobile here. Dude, there's epic stuff stuffed into every little box, every nook and cranny. You really have to take your time here and look through it all. That one's great. Oh yeah, every box is packed. And great Scott! I almost didn't see that great bangarang sign right there. I'm overstimulated. I'm overstimulated. So far, all we've done is walk from that door to this corner over here, and that is it. There's a lot more show ahead of us. I didn't even notice this weird hallway back here. Let's check it out. Whoa, this is a sign that I was meant to be here all along. Look at the size of that soda pop. Whoa, and they don't just have a giant 7-Up bottle. They have Fresh Up Freddy. Freaking Fresh Up Freddy. I love this guy. That is something you very rarely see these days. I mean, they've even brought the Noid back, but not this guy. Check that out. That was a must-have for every gas station back in the day. What I really love are seeing the ones I've never seen before, you know? And I don't just mean versions of signs. I mean like whole brands I've never heard of. It's just so much fun to discover new things. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, a misspell 7-Up sign? Dude, what's this sign for? A graveyard? See, to me, I love advertising as art. It's sort of the main art form of the 20th century, in my opinion. For better or worse, that's what our culture, the one that we came from and were born out of, that's what our culture created. I really believe in 1,000 years, people will be talking more about all of our advertising than they will about our Picassos and such, you know? From our comic books to our toys, even our communication devices became part of the advertising. Oh, that is cool. Allie always finds these little goodies everywhere. Like me. That's how you know I'm a goodie. Oh, that's what I like to see. We're getting into the 90s and the 80s. Look, there's some vintage Ninja Turtles hiding over here. Oh my gosh, it's G.I. Joe. Dude, I miss my old G.I. Joe so much. They've gotten so expensive. And look at this, I recognize these two monsters right here from the Ghostbusters line by Kenner. Besides just the G.I. Joes, I also wish I had all my old Nintendo games back. I think my brother kept some of them. I guess that's exactly the point of shows like this, right? You come back and you go, oh, I remember that. I need it back. Man, all right. I gotta get to work. Gotta pick up the pace a little bit. Wow, look at that old tobacco stuff. Useless, of course, without a couple of matches. Dude, check out those match machines. Dude, look at this Richfield Oil, Rich Lube lubricant. This was the official gas of Disneyland. Okay, look at these old machines here. You think, oh, slot machines, gambling. This is in a time where you couldn't gamble. So it had to give you a gumball, but you might still win the pot. Other ones, instead of gumballs, gave you cigarettes. And of course, during World War II, when they needed to scrap most of these for metal, they built some out of wood. Did you say wood? Oh, that's awesome.
So then if you had 3 of a kind, you'd win 1 pack of cigarettes. And 4 of a kind, 3 packs. Oh, wow. And 5 of a kind, 5 packs.
See, I love coming to places like this and meeting guys like that. And you actually get to learn something new. I knew nothing about trade stimulators, cigarette, gambling, slot machines before today. Oh my gosh, color forms. Look at the size of that color form box. Color forms were big when I was a kid. Literally, physically large. Dude, there are some cool board games in here. Like really cool looking. Dude, there are some really neat things. stashed away over here. What gets me is the packaging. When people have old packaging, sometimes the packaging was more exciting than the toy, that's for sure. Dude, look at this vintage Fred Flintstone and his work dinosaur. Look at that guy in there. I have never seen this before in my life. That is neat. It's covered with fur. Furry dino. Weird. Look at that. This is what it looks like when I cook. I'm so excited. I'm pouring sauce before the food's even done. This is neat. This lady over here appears to specialize in paper dolls. That's kind of cool. I never thought about somebody collecting paper doll stuff. They've got everything from Gone with the Wind to the World's Fair to Catwoman. She's even got original Victorian era ones. Wow, look at all these old pins. Uh-oh. Shield your eyes, children. Look at these ones instead. Oh, this is neat. Superman. Newspaper strips. All mounted on boards. That's a cool idea. Ooh, there's Mars Attacks right there. A lot of people don't know. It started out as a trading card series that upset mothers everywhere. Dude, I feel like I need days and days and days at things like this. The cool part is, this is the very first day, which I think costs a little bit more than the other day. So there's not as many people. It's kind of nice. There's a little bit of elbow room, which I appreciate because I get claustrophobic pretty easily. So I didn't know until I was much older that Matchbox people and Hot Wheel people sometimes are at odds. I didn't know it was like Star Wars versus Star Trek. When I was little, I had both. I intermixed them. I didn't know it was a sin. Look at the original Matchbox packaging. That is so freaking cool. I've never been interested in collecting the little cars. But if they all had packages like that, I might have sung a different tune. Oh my gosh. I don't think they really want to sell G.I. Joe. The good 80s G.I. Joe. And not only that, look at this. Robo-Strucks. GoBots. Star Wars. Yeah. Oh, the Cloud City playset. I never had one. All right, this is amazing. It's vintage 80s dinosaur. I was just thinking about him the other day. He was in every toy store. He was everywhere. That dinosaur is a piece of history. Dude, we've only been down 2 aisles. Just 2 aisles. Oh, another stereoscope. I want one. There's so much good stuff. I feel like each booth is taking me 30 minutes. There's just so many things I've never seen before in my life. And I'm fascinated. Plus, all the vendors here have been really friendly, like the paper dolls lady or the guy that had those gambling machines and stuff. They want you to know about their hobby, their things they collect and sell. It's not like a normal, like, hey, we went to an estate sale and got this stuff and now we're just flipping it. Like, people are passionate here. Uh-oh, vintage Halloween. Allie's Spidey sense is going to be tingling. Okay, that is freaking sick right there. What's great, too, is some of it is really high-end. Very rare, very valuable, and then some of it not so much. Some of it is still really cool, but much more affordable for the average person. Whoa, this gang. Whoa. Look at this chemistry set right here. Atomic energy. I know for a fact there were kits from back in the 50s and 60s sometimes that actually had radioactive stuff in them. I don't know if this is one of them. But this thing has got the look. What the heck? You think if I bought this for the 400 bucks or whatever they want, and I consumed every bottle of these chemicals, would I get superpowers? See, look right there. Uranium ore. Dude. Vintage comics are cool. But seeing vintage TV guides and vintage magazines is even cooler. Just love the art, the print style. Amazing. I just love the way the aesthetics changed for all the various advertising and movie posters, magazines. Something that's actually a vintage print always just has a different sort of look to it, too. Alright, I was about to scream, look at the size of that elf, and show you a giant Keebler elf. What I didn't realize is that this is a giant Keebler elf costume. What in the world? Oh, I want that so bad. I don't know if I have the cash. That is a very cheap price. What would I even do with it? Oh, I know. I'd bake cookies inside a tree. Cocoa Puffs mail away table tent. Dude, they've got all the good stuff over here. Wow. Don't know what that is. but I like it. Apparently somebody else did too, because it's sold. Ooh, I just realized you can get up on the stage. This place is closing in an hour. We wasted too much time in the first 2 aisles. Maybe it'll help me speed things up if I can get a bird's eye view. Whoa. All right, I just see a lot more stuff that I'll want to look over for hours. Hey, check this out, churned buttermilk. Mmm. Wow, look at all these. Look at the art. It's so good. Why don't modern oil companies use this kind of style? Just the colors just pop on some of this stuff. Look at all this hot dog stuff. I'm just gonna put this out there, but if you love wieners, this is the place for you. Look at that one and that one. Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Dude, and what the heck? A Jiffy Dog machine, question mark? Apparently all this stuff is a group. $750, you can start your very own wiener collection. Dude, look at this. Hand-painted enamel sign. That is amazing. Oh my gosh, it's Mr. Peanut. Okay, I want that so much. It's sold, but how much fun is that person gonna have? That is a costume right there.
You could still get a monocle and pretend to be Mr. Peanut.
That's true. Oh, wow.
You got the little cars going around, the little
That is incredible. That is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Why am I not a billionaire? See, look at it. Allie is thrilled. Ooh, you got the big old school G.I. Joes, including Mr. Beard over there. Dude, look at this. They've got the old Alamo playset, which I think was made by Marx. But look at the box. Look at the way that black and orange pops off that cardboard. Oh, the old Mark Twain radio. Very hard to find in as good a shape as this. Dude, even the stage is packed with amazing stuff. Everything from the cute to the creepy. Everything from the risky to the risque. This is like just as good as Disneyland to me, coming to things like this and seeing all this stuff. I love pop art and advertising art, and I really love that all the vendors appear to be collectors themselves. They're all super friendly. They all want to teach you all about stuff. They're not pushing anything on you. I have learned a lot about things I never knew that I wanted to know about until today in this place. If that makes any kind of sense at all. Dude, check out all these old vintage die-cast cars. And then look at this, it's Reddy Kilowatt. He's never been handsome, but he is powerful. I could use some of those. Okay, for an empty box. This is neat. Of course, Allie is the one who saw that. Dude, check this out back here. Dixie Cup, Star Wars Dixie Cup. Now this isn't really the kind of place you come looking for a great bargain. You're gonna pay full price, full retail. It's more about the high quality of the stuff and the high quality of the vendors and the fact that they know a lot about all this stuff and all the conversations and there's so many other collectors. It's definitely not, oh, check out this cool flea market. It's different. It has a whole different vibe. It's almost like each booth is walking into a different collector's living room and talking about the stuff they've got in there. As crazy as it sounds, it feels much more like that than being at, say, a swap meet or something. Uh-oh. Now I'm in trouble. I'm in danger. I see vintage Star Wars packaging. Oh, the Millennium Falcon in the original box. Just gonna pretend I didn't see it. Just gonna pretend I didn't see it. All right, this is weird. That is an actual clay Gumby. No idea whose signature that is, but that's a clay Gumby, all right. Allie loves Gumby. That's why she loves me. I'm always popping into any books with my Pony Pal Pokey. Whoa, look at this. That's Ray. And here are his guns. And they are freaking awesome. Just imagine the kids that would go nuts over Space Patrol helmets like this. I totally get it when it comes to the ray guns. Some of the other stuff is pretty funny. That's the thing, a lot of people saved their toys, but the dress up stuff, if you grew out of it, you threw it away. So finding like Roy Rogers belt, gloves, chaps, and that's pretty rare. What kid kept that? What mom let them? All right, I'm not a big watch guy, but that's a cool watch. I'd wear that. Dude, check out this epic vintage Tonka Sportsman's set. That is rad. That's one thing I wish I'd have held on to are our Tonka trucks that we had at my grandma's house. They were really old, beat up. They were a lot of fun. I'm sure they ended up in some kind of yard sale eventually. Because at the time, I mean, you could find tons of them. You could find them everywhere, every garage sale. Now I feel like you don't see them anywhere. Wow, look at all this collector glass over here. Glass is a big deal. Bottles are a big-time collectible. There's a whole scene. They have magazines. I think it's really neat. It's definitely something I don't know a lot about. I do find it fascinating, though, that people can find them out there in the world with their original labels. Look at these packages of ice cream printed on cardboard. These have frozen ice cream in them. Look at how they've survived. That's what I'm saying about the quality of the stuff here. It's crazy. These guys are talking about what they had as kids and how it's like impossible to find it all. Incredible. I mean, even with eBay, it must be difficult to come across some of this stuff, particularly in this condition with the packaging. I love it, dude. Old modeling magazines. You got old plastic Army Men toys. Check out the old magazines, too. Oh, I know this guy. Every 80s kid knows this guy. Oh my gosh. Actually, I should have said, oh my Joe. The prices for vintage G.I. Joe stuff have gone crazy, but I want them all. This is just like meeting a bunch of your old friends. I love you all. Dude, I can't say enough. I can't say enough. I have not enough adjectives in my vocabulary. I can keep saying, dude, this is awesome. Look at this epic stuff. There's only so many phrases, but I'm blown away. Yeah, check out this Grad Night 1985 letter opener from Disneyland. Imagine walking out of the souvenir shop and carrying that around a theme park. Alright, what's scarier? Raggedy Ann or the Puppet Brigade? Ha ha ha. You don't look like my grandma! What big eyes you have! And teeth and scary hands with gloves. Ooh. Speaking of creepy, what in the HE double hockey sticks is that head doing? Alright. I'm trying not to just keep repeating, this is awesome. But guys, this is awesome. What bone is it? Oh no, we're running out of bone! Look at that shape. Now that's a rocket ship, alright. Oh no, my old enemy, bread! Dude, so much good stuff. Where do you find stuff like that? Oh, if you got this hat, you'd be dapper indeed. Oh my gosh, it's Allie Ham Lincoln. Amazing. Watch out, if you put that on your head all the way, you'll get ghosts. It's old. Hey, it's Uncle John. He wants you to buy some syrup. It's the real flavor. Oh my gosh, speaking of vintage metal trucks, I see some old school Buddy L goodness. Dude, look at the size of some of these guys. To say nothing of the design, look at that. Now that's a bus. Or how about this? Look at that. Now that's a moving van. You can kind of do that with anything. Now that's a lady. Now that's a dog. Actually, now that is a dog. Look at that thing. Ooh, look at this Richfield truck. That is neat, dude. The graphics, the colors. We've seen some trucks. I don't know if you guys watched my videos. Down in some ghost towns near Jerome, they had one of these old oil and gas trucks like this, still painted like this. Sitting in traffic with those trucks on the freeway would be a lot more interesting if the trucks still looked streamlined and cool and had different colors. These, I think, are all actually new. I mean, these models, not, of course, the trucks themselves. I don't think they're actually vintage. But if they're not, you can barely tell. They look incredible. Dude, there is so much amazing stuff. Gosh, I gotta stop saying that. But every booth, I'm genuinely like, oh my goodness. Wow, it's Pinocchio. Look at that Pinocchio. I have never seen one of these. That is cool. All right, I was getting excited because I thought we were done. This was the last aisle, and then I saw there's more nooks and crannies. Now I know for sure I'm skipping over things I wanted to look at. But that's always how you know you're at a good convention or a good show or a good event, because there's so much stuff you can't see it all. And no matter how much time you spend here, they always leave you wanting more. Wow, there's a lot of really neat advertising in this back corner. A lot of neat
point of sale, countertop displays. I mean, look at these. Incredible. Imagine having these ashtrays out for your customers to use at your Pontiac fine car dealership. Those are really cool. Oh, look at the vintage Halloween masks. There's so much great stuff. Just in this one corner. What's she doing? Why is she pouring her beer on the floor? I almost skipped right over this. I didn't notice. Pronto Pups. Wiener done in a bun. Weird. Sick. Oh, hey, it's Ready Kilowatt again. Whoa, now there's something I haven't seen in a while. It's the Taco Bell boy. I've never seen that Squirt Kid before. All right, we at least saw most of the main floor, and now there's this weird terrace room. So this is it for us. One last spot to check out. Wow, look at this. 1 billion toy soldiers. Pressed, sawdust and glue, hand-painted, European. They're so exotic. This guy apparently moved to Sweden 50 years ago to marry his high school sweetheart who was the foreign exchange student. So he finds all these European ones and brings them over here for collectors in the United States. That can't be that profitable. That's some pure dedication right there. I'm easily excited anyway, so coming here, even as small and snug and intimate as it is, really, compared to a lot of other conventions, my brain gets so excited I'm never going to be able to sleep tonight. I've just seen so many amazing things today, and from what I understand, a lot of the vendors will switch what they have at their tables from day to day, to say nothing of show to show, so it looks like the Glendale show might have to become a regular thing with us. For now, though, sadly, for us, the show's over. Not because we want to go or anything, because it's closed for the day. The Glendale show turned out even better than I expected. And I expected a lot. And of course, despite mine and Allie's best efforts, we are leaving the place with a little swag. But I don't want to stand around and show you guys in the hot sun. Let's head home first and see what we picked up.
I'm still trying to overcome the overstimulation, especially after driving all the way back home in stop-and-go traffic for the most part. But I think I've recovered enough to show you what we got. We didn't get too much stuff. We did pick up a few things, starting with the 1989 Batman and Robin, made by Toy Biz. This Batman with the pull-out rope belt was, of course, based on Michael Keaton from the 1989 film, while Robin was a redo from an earlier Kenner line based on cartoons and comics, the Superpowers line. But I didn't care when I was a kid that he wasn't in the movie. I loved these guys. This is what they looked like on their cards in the store. And of course I already have these, but seeing two fine loose examples like this, they were a great steal. They were one of the only deals and steals I saw that was too good to pass up. So Batman and Robin came home with me. One of my all-time favorite toys of childhood was the Toy Biz Batmobile, which is the correct Batmobile for these two guys. So I'll find some space for them somewhere. Are you afraid of ghosts? Because I ain't afraid of no ghost, and that is why when I saw these three beauties at some random booth in a basket looking forlorn and unplayed with, I had to grab them. Not only do you have the Screamin' Heroes Spangler here, but maybe two of the greatest ghosts the Ghostbusters line from Kenner ever produced. Right here, you've got the werewolf and, of course, Frankenstein's monster. Dude, look at that. I believe these were put out in 1989, if I'm not mistaken, around the time of Ghostbusters 2. I always wanted these, never had them. I only have a few Ghostbusters things, including the original 4 figures and the Ecto-1 around here. So this will be a nice addition. The switch on this one is sort of useless, but he had this crazy feature like many of the Ghostbusters after the initial release of the 4 main characters. Look at that. Walmart has been re-releasing some of the figures and now even the Ecto-1 car from the old original Kenner toy line. We'll have to talk about that another time. But this is making everybody Ghostbusters crazy, including me, so I could not leave those monsters behind. Now, there was a lot of vintage Disney stuff there, including some that we picked up to put in the antique store booth. But there were just a couple of little things I couldn't leave behind. These 3 tiny little PVC figures. I think they were made by Applause back in the day. They used to sell some of these at the exit and the entrance to Disneyland back in the day at the park. It was one of the cheapest souvenirs you could get. I'm not sure if these 3 specifically were there, but I particularly like this little Mickey Mouse with the camera Kind of reminds me of me. Ha ha! Oh boy, that was terrible. Just forget I did that. Now all this stuff is great, don't get me wrong. But they had better stuff there than these things. These things were just things I knew were like a super hot bargain. I couldn't leave without them because they were just such a great deal. And maybe I'll be the custodian for a while. Maybe they'll go on to somebody else after a while. They'll go in the booth. They'll go online. I don't know. We'll just think it over for a while. Enjoy them in the meantime. But there was one thing that not only was it perfect timing because I really wanted to illustrate this in a forthcoming video, which I'll explain when that happens. But it was just too awesome to leave without. And that is 1980s toy store dinosaur. Okay, maybe not specifically 1980s, but these rubber generic dinosaurs, rubber, plastic, I don't know what they are, were in every toy store ever. And before the Jurassic Park toys came along in 1993, every toy store, even grocery store sometimes, and every toy catalog had these very generic plastic rubber dinosaurs. Every, maybe even back as far as the 60s, but every 70s and 80s kid, certainly, even into the 90s, the early 90s, remembers this T-Rex that was always around. Everybody used to put their fingers in there. It's got the little sharp, hard plastic mouth. And over time, their little mouths would get bent because everybody always used to pinch their mouths closed. Put your brother's finger in there, pinch the dinosaur closed on it. So when I touched this guy, I grabbed his face, and it was all stiff still. No breaks, no rips on his face. I was like, oh, this is a perfect condition. Beautiful, original, old school, 80s toy dinosaur. Could not leave without it. And like I said, there's something I want to talk about with you guys upcoming in a couple weeks. Maybe that this will be perfect to illustrate a point from. So, Toy Store Dinosaur is going to hang out with me here for a while. Probably scare my cats a little bit. And I was pretty stoked on getting this guy in the old bunker here. Speaking of that antique store booth, I decided to take a couple of these hand-painted signs that we were only selling in the booth and put them on eBay. A lot of people were like, I really want to get my hands on one of these things. So I only have a couple left that are home. I haven't had a chance to paint more. I've been on Route 66. I've been home. My kid's starting high school. Can you believe that? That's a whole separate topic. So I've decided to take my favorite one, the Hostess Turtle Pie sign, stick that on eBay, as well as Virgil Earp, lawman. Wyatt Earp gets all the press, but Virgil Earp, he was the real lawman of the bunch. So I painted this portrait of Virgil Earp on a brick from the town he died in. That's gone already. Now all I've got left is this beautiful hand-painted sign. It didn't come out too bad. I'm actually pretty stoked on that one. Maybe not quite as stoked as I was on the turtle pies. It's a little more obscure. These things were gross, by the way. I've seen whole forums light up with people debating on whether they were gross or good. Listen, they were good because the turtles ate them and told us to eat them. So they were fantastic, but they also tasted disgusting. So that's my final word on that. And with that, my friends, and those announcements, showing you the little swag, I'm working on so many secret projects, and there's so many more fun adventures to go on. We're going to be back at another crazy convention, a totally different one, a totally different direction next time. I will see you there. But for now, after you visited store.randomland.com, of course, what am I thinking? And maybe Instagram? You've done your duty. You can go home and sleep well.
So you're the one! I wanted that so bad. I'm so jealous, Mr. Peanut. You look fantastic. Look at that. Whoa, now this is beyond vintage. This is antique. There's your old school rocking or pulling. This one you would have pulled with the rope. Maybe you could have sat a child on this at one time. Horse made of wood. And that is probably real horse hair glued all over him. A horse made from parts of horse. Fun! What a fun one! On this here, this looks like an ancient relative of mine. Oh no, he's Scottish because he's playing golf. There he goes, off into the distance, that old nut. He's nuts. He's cuckoo, get it? And also he's a peanut, so What a nutty day.
Random land! Random land!